All right, you guys, so welcome to weeks 3 and 4 of this nutrition video series. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking week 3 and focusing exclusively on breakfast. So I have Audrey here joining me to show you guys exactly what breakfasts are going to look like. Breakfasts that are actually made a little bit more for your goals and the things that you're trying to achieve. So here we have Audrey.
Hello, great to be back. So if you're like me, and you're super busy, and I tend to not eat breakfast anyway, and so when you're starting a new program, for me, breakfast has been the hardest challenge. I've got lunch and dinner down perfectly along with snacks, but breakfast is a little bit different for me. So I like to think outside the box. I'm a very outside the box kind of thinker, and think of things that will, one, keep well in the fridge, so I only have to make it once and I can probably eat on it all week, and two, that are not omelets or eggs, or not that eggs are bad. I like eggs too, but you got to stand there and cook it and everything else. I just like different things, like to have things that taste really good and have weird combinations. So the first thing that I picked out to kind of demonstrate for you to think outside the box, it's an apple date chia seed bowl. So literally all I've done is you take an apple. You can use any kind of apples you want. I like Honeycrisp, only because I tend to go to the sweet side with everything. So working on that. And if you want a fun little trick with an apple, if you cut it upside down, the core almost disappears. So you don't have the core stuff in there as much as if you were to cut it this way, stem side up. Oh, well, I did it again, but oh well.
You're just that good at it, Audrey.
I know, sorry. So I literally just chopped up my apple. I already measured out my chia seeds. You could do a tablespoon. I do like a tablespoon and a half of chia seeds. I love mason jars. One, because they look really cool and it's all super trendy right now. But two, they seem to keep things way better and longer than Tupperware or the glass container Tupperware that's out there. I don't know why. Maybe they create a better seal and keep the freshness in, but I like to use mason jars. So that's just personal preference, but a little tip if you wanted to give it a try.
Nice.
I've kind of pre-cut some dates, used dates from Costco. They're already pre-pitted, super easy. I literally just cut it in half and then just cut it into bite-sized portions. Perfect. Super easy. And then you're going to take it and dump it in your mason jar and stick the lid on and shake it up, mix it all up. And when you eat it, it tastes like a caramel apple. It's so good. It really is. Perfect, quick, easy breakfast that will last you at least a couple days in your portion control. All right, so next breakfast that I want you to give a try, that's super easy, is a yogurt parfait. So this you can make up and eat on your way to work. You can make it up, leave it in overnight, grab it in the morning, whatever you want to do. Super simple. You don't even have to do anything. If you are going dairy free, I have found this coconut dairy alternative. Sorry about that. It's coconut yogurt. And I would say I've tried about 6 or 7 of them out there. And I haven't found one that I like except for this one. It tastes like dairy without the dairy. So it's not really watery. It has flavor. So this is my brand of choice. So again, we're going to use a mason jar because I love mason jars. I'm just going to dump some of it in there. Not all of it yet because we're going to parfait it. Granola, whatever granola you like. It doesn't really matter. Just a preference thing. Again, you can do chunkier granola, just a little bit of sprinkle. That comes to about a tablespoon. So we're probably going to use 2 tablespoons of granola total. I like to use dried fruit in my parfaits. One, because real fruit gets that watery consistency and then tends to water down your parfait, so you almost have to drink it. Dried fruit, if you're gonna let it sit overnight or make it up, then get ready for work or whatever you're gonna do, and if it's gonna sit a little bit, it'll absorb some of that moisture, so your parfait is not gonna be runny, and then your dried fruit will be a little bit softer. And if you eat it right away, then you get a crunch from the dry fruit. So any dry fruit you like, sprinkle, oh, sprinkle all too much. And then complete the parfait with another layer. I love reusing them. So since I dumped too many blueberries in the first layer, I'm just going to go back and do a little bit of granola sprinkle. And there you have it. So there you go. You stick your lid on. You're ready to go with breakfast number 2. Okay, here's breakfast number 3 that you can use for the week. Again, here we are with our mason jars. Hard-boiled eggs are great just to keep, you pre-boil them on the weekend when you have some time. Keep them in your mason jar so you can just grab it. If you want more than an egg, then I find some cheese, cut it up in a mason jar, and some nuts, and you've got your own little pre-packed protein pack ready for breakfast. Keep you to lunch. Hey guys, we just talked about breakfast for week 3. We are moving into week 4, lunches. So for this lunch, what I'm gonna do is create a vegan or vegetarian option. It can go either way. But if you would like some protein, some meat other than the black beans, you can go ahead and throw in any kind of meat that you would like. It works well for anything. So we're just gonna kind of do a Southwestern bowl really quick. Gonna take some olive oil, just about a tablespoon of olive oil in my pan because my pan is super nonstick. So let that heat for a second. Cauliflower rice. If you are afraid of cauliflower rice, I'd say give it a shot. When you season it, it doesn't really, you don't get that super cauliflowery taste. It cuts down on the complex carbs with the jasmine rice or the brown rice alternatives and just gives you more vegetables. So I found cauliflower rice. I know it's a big thing. Everybody's doing it. But let's do it different. So you dump it in and we're gonna pan fry it, which is gonna change the consistency completely. Almost like a fried rice, but it'll just absorb some of those flavors again. And I'm gonna season it. So I found this company. They're a local company to Arizona, but you can order online and they will ship to you. The name of the company is the Southwestern Griller. Family owned and operated, and I love the flavors that they have. This is Let's Talk About It, or Taco About It. And so I'm just gonna sprinkle the rice till it gets a good coat and let that cook for a minute. All right, so I've got this cooking at about a medium-high temperature. I like to stir it every so often just to get a good little char on each little bit of cauliflower because I like my cauliflower rice kind of crispy, if that makes sense. All right, guys, so when I'm doing a bowl, I like to cook everything separately and season them differently because then you bring in a whole bunch of different flavors and textures. I know it's super easy just to throw it all in a pan and mix it all together. You can do that as well if you're crunched for time. But if you have a little bit more time, I'm all for cooking everything separate just to give it different. You can use different oils to bring in more flavors, different seasonings on each and every individual thing that you're gonna make in your bowl. So the rice is done. I'm good with that. I am going to just dump it in my bowl and move on to the next thing. So I use some olive oil for the rice. I think what I'll do is use some chili oil just to mix it up. Bring in just a little bit of heat. I'm not gonna use a whole lot because I don't like things super spicy. You can buy chili oil or you can make your own. Literally it's the pepper flakes, chili pepper flakes, you know, the ones that you put on pizza. Throw it in a jar and throw olive oil in it. The longer it sits, the more the oil absorbs the chili peppers. And so it gives you a good heat, taste-wise, in oil, and you don't have to use a whole lot, but it still gives a whole lot of different flavor in different things. So what we're gonna do is we're going to pan fry our black beans. So I rinsed them out, pre-rinsed black beans. You always wanna kind of rinse them out. And then we're gonna pan fry them. What this is gonna do is give the black bean some flavor. You're gonna cook in that chili oil into the bean, and you're gonna make the beans a little crispy too. So you're not eating a whole bowl of mush. So we're gonna stir and get that oil on all the beans that we can. Just let it simmer down just a little bit, and then we're gonna throw it in the bowl. So the goal with the beans is to cook down the juice, any juice that you're seeing bubble up. That means your beans are just gonna have a little bit more crisp to them. It's all just personal preference. So if you're good with just heated, seasoned, you could probably take it off the heat now, but I like mine a little crispy, so I'm gonna cook down all that liquid just a little bit more. All right, so my beans are done to my liking, so I'm just going to dump them in the bowl with the rice. And just let them sit there. And we're gonna move on to some sweet potato. So I'm gonna go back to some olive oil, again, just a little bit. I pre-cut I'm not even gonna rinse my pan out because it's all going in one bowl. I'm gonna throw this is one sweet potato. I just peeled and cubed it. We're gonna go outside the box here on the seasoning. I am going to use buttery steakhouse seasoning on my potatoes. I got this from Costco. I like the flavor of this because it gives you that butter flavor. I love butter. Gives you that butter flavor without the butter, obviously. So these we're just gonna stir around, cook them down a little bit, soften them up, but not turn them to mush. All right, guys, so my sweet potatoes are done. I'm gonna shut my heat off. I'm going to dump it in my bowl. And then move over here for the final touches. Let's see. So I've got the cauliflower rice, the black beans, the sweet potatoes. I am going to add in some mango salsa just to give it a little bit more taste, a little bit more flavor. I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons. You could probably do a little bit more if you like. Let's do 1 more just for fun. Go from there. I'm gonna throw that in. I am going to mix it all together. So I get the salsa and all the flavors. And then what I've got for garnish on top is some green onions. I've got some, I'm not a big jalapeno fan, but so I do banana peppers. Just chop them up, sprinkle them on, and you look like a chef. All right, guys, here's another lunch for you, pretty quick and easy. Doing another just kind of throw it together in a bowl kind of meal. You could separate it out individually if you wanted to as a protein and sides. Totally your choice, totally your preference, and feel free to think outside the box in this and what you throw into your pan. So what I'm going to do now is, I don't even have a name for this. I'm just gonna throw stuff in a pan. Let's call it that. So I'm gonna throw some coconut oil in there. This one I am going to use meat. I'm going to use canned chicken. And I'm going to cook it because it changes the flavor of the chicken. And it doesn't taste like it's from a can. And you can season it. And it gives it, just brings a whole new dynamic to your meal. So I'm gonna start with some coconut oil in my pan. Again, I'm gonna cook on medium to high heat. Only because I like things to cook a little quicker. But you can also, if you're not comfortable on medium high, because you have to kind of watch it more, medium is great. It'll just take a little bit longer to cook things. So I'm gonna melt down my coconut oil a little bit. This one, I am going to use garbanzo beans. And again, we're gonna throw them in the pan. These will really crisp up good to get a good crunch. So I did coconut oil and chickpeas. I think I might go a little Asian-y-ish in this one. Again, I'm using the Southwestern Griller seasonings, and I'm using the Gunslinger. And this one's just kind of an all multi-purpose seasoning. I'm just gonna season, again, probably about a tablespoon. Get the seasoning on all the chickpeas. I'm gonna stir them. Be careful with the chickpeas because they will jump out of the pan at you. On higher heat, they tend to pop. Okay, so my chickpeas are starting to pop at me, so tell me they're pretty much done. I'm gonna take them off the heat, dump them in my bowl, and continue on. Okay, so if you want to make this a vegetarian option, just omit this next part. But we're going to go for canned chicken, and I am going to use some sesame seed oil. Again, about a tablespoon. You don't need a whole lot. If your pan is nonstick, you might need a little bit more if your pan isn't nonstick, but brings in a whole bunch of different flavors. I'm just using 1 can. If you have a bigger family or you're cooking for more people, you might want to use 2. This is not going to take very long because it's already cooked. So what we're going to do is we're going to, sorry, it's like really going here. We're going to break it up. Get that sesame seed oil on it to bring in that flavor. We are going to use some coconut aminos. I use coconut aminos in place of soy sauce. It's less sodium. It is soy-free. It's non-GMO. It's gluten-free, and it tastes better than soy sauce. But, and it's a little bit thicker, so it kind of gives it more of like a saucy kind of thing. So I'm going to do about a tablespoon of coconut aminos. Pour that on my chicken. Mix it up, chop it up. So again, look at your ingredients and think of all the different ways that you could eat it. And then this could turn into 2 or 3 different kinds of meals depending on what and how you eat it. All right, so the chicken didn't take very long at all. I'm gonna take that off the heat, dump it in the bowl. Let's see, let's do some carrots, little bit of oil. And I'm using the oil in my nonstick. You don't necessarily even have to use oil in nonstick, but I like to do it because I'm seasoning everything differently, and the oil gives the seasoning something to hold on to a little bit more and stick to whatever you're cooking. So I'm going to bring a little bit of spice into this and use tahini. I know a lot of people use this on fruits, vegetables as a sprinkling, as a topping. I love cooking with it. One of my son's friends introduced me to this, and it's a little bit spicy, it's a little bit citrusy. It brings a really great element into so many different meals. So you notice I'm kind of doing like an Asian flair in this one, but yet tahini is a little bit more Mexican flavor-ish. You would think to use it in that. Okay, so for my carrot, I picked 1 carrot out of the rainbow carrots. I love the rainbow carrots. One, it brings in so much fun color to your meals, and changes the visual of your meal. All right, carrots are done. Didn't take too long. I only used 1. We're just adding a little bit more in just to get some more vegetables. I am going to do Brussels sprouts, but we are going to cook these in a white balsamic vinegar, and this one is lemongrass mint. And don't be afraid of the specialty stores that have all those olive oils and vinegars. Just because you've never tried it, go in and look at a flavor. You can taste them. You can try something new, a flavor that appeals to you, and then just put it in everything. Cook the meat in it, cook the vegetables in it, in different ways and different varieties, because again, it's going to bring in that different element. When we combine all the flavors, it's all just going to meld together. All right, the Brussels sprouts went really quick. Gonna throw these in the pan, and then I'm gonna throw some broccoli in. Just stir it around, get a good char on it, mix in everything. I didn't use any oil in this because there was some leftover vinegar in there and there's still some oil. I never rinse the pan in between each step just so it kind of keeps cooking in the flavors, all the different flavors of all the different seasonings. And then the broccoli going last with the broccoli, it will really absorb everything that's left in the pan and bring it to our bowl. All right, so broccoli's done. This was our last thing we were doing in this bowl. So I'm gonna dump it on in. Bring it over to our counter. Mix it all up so we get all those fun colors and textures and all the different flavors. Man, that looks so pretty. I have the honor of having a garden, so I just went out and picked some sorrel. Now, I didn't know what the heck sorrel was a few years ago, but it's a leafy green that heats really well, that tastes like lemon. It's amazing. I'm gonna show you a little trick. I picked 3 leaves, and so I'm going to roll them together. And then just take my knife and I'm just going to slice them thin. It gives it a good shape. Shake them out so you get those fun little strings. You can chop them smaller if you want so people don't know they're eating greens. And there you go.
All right, you guys, so we just got done showing you a variety of recipes that you can make for breakfasts and lunches. So I want Audrey to weigh in a little bit more on this and kind of give you guys some final tips and tricks that you can use to really enjoy this whole process and make different meals the way that would really make it just fun and enjoyable for everybody.
Okay guys, so we made some breakfast, and let's say day 2, you're sick of eating this. So what you can do is you can make some oatmeal, however, from a packet, from a big bulk, however you want to make oatmeal, try oats, any flavor, plain, whatever your preference. Dump some of this on top of your oatmeal and changes it up, creates a whole nother breakfast out of one jar of food. Also overnight oats, take some oatmeal, throw some milk, almond milk, whatever milk you like, water even, water gets a little runny, but throw this on top, stick it in the fridge overnight, you've got overnight oats. So you can get a couple different meals, your eggs, your hard-boiled eggs and your cheese, you can chop it up, make a little salad. Sorry, yogurt parfait is kind of just a yogurt parfait, so that one you just gotta eat, sorry. But with your dinners, think outside the box too to remake them. Say you're on day 2 and you just don't want to eat this anymore. So the one that we made kind of Mexican-y with no meat, you can take it, throw it all in the pan since it's already all seasoned and cooked differently and it's all got that texture and those different flavors in there. Throw some meat in it, whatever meat you like, and cook it up, fry it up in the pan. Creates a whole different kind of meal.
Okay, so when it comes down to the whole point of what we're talking about for these weeks 3 and 4, you guys, here's the reason why. I feel like it's best if we also give you a rationale as to what we're doing here, okay? What this really comes down to is starting to prioritize things and also a little bit of time management, okay? When it comes to trying to live a healthier life and start making it a little bit more into your lifestyle, these have to become things that are priorities to you. Just like every single day, no matter what, we wake up, we work, right? And if we don't work, we don't have a roof over our heads. We don't have a means to live, right? Well, it's the same thing when it comes to our health. If we don't put in a little bit of work, if we don't prioritize a little bit, the health goes down. We don't have good health anymore. So more than anything, when it comes to weeks 3 and 4, what I want you guys to do is start sectioning out a little bit of time for yourself every day, or maybe just once a week if you want to just prep this all in bulk right away. I mean, all the things that Audrey just showed us today, you guys, you can literally make a ton of it, you know, just of course, use your hand portions. Again, palm size of protein, cupped handful of carbohydrates, thumb of fats, and of course a fist of vegetables. That's for ladies, and then for men, you double that. And then of course, if you want to get a little bit of a deficit, less than a palm of carbohydrates, a little bit of less of the fats, all those kinds of things, and then just make up for that with more vegetables. But essentially, you guys, that is the mindset component, that is the lesson that we're trying to learn in weeks 3 and 4, is start prioritizing your health. It's not about quick grab and go anymore, just from, you know, whatever restaurant or favorite fast food chain. Is putting a little bit more conscious effort into it, but realizing that you can enjoy all this stuff. You guys, like, did you see all the wonderful spices Audrey put in there? Those spices didn't add anything except flavor. You know, you don't have to be worried about the flavor, right? I mean, it's just,
not at all.
it was amazing, you guys. And this stuff is wonderful. I mean, it takes just barely any time whatsoever to make up. And you can, like I said, make it up in bulk. And you have plenty for the entire week if you want to, just for your lunches and just for your breakfast. I mean, look how easy it is just to put these. You put like 5 of these in your, you know, your fridge and have breakfast for the next 5 days, you guys. It's really, really simple, really, really easy.
And you know, Adam, what I really like too is that I'm not being overwhelmed with, here's your meal plan, cook it all.
Yeah.
You know, I had a week to just concentrate on eating breakfast and figuring out what I like to eat for breakfast and how long is it going to take me to make breakfast. And, you know, so I had a week to figure it out. And then once I got breakfast down that week, then you introduced lunches to me. And so I already had breakfast down, so that I didn't have to think about anymore. So now I could just have one more meal to think about, like, oh, what do I want to have for lunch? What do I like to have for lunch? You know, what are my options for lunches? And it wasn't so overwhelming to where you're bombarded with the entirety of a meal plan and all the recipes and everything else. And to break it down simplistically and give you time to wrap your mind around changing those habits is what I think really stands out to me. That is completely different than anything I've ever seen.
Awesome. And that's the thing, you guys. I think for more than anything, what we're trying to communicate with this is probably a lot of the things that we just put together. If you went on any other meal plan or some diet plan, half this stuff would probably even be off limits, to be honest with you. They'd be like a big list of do's and don'ts, right? How fun is that anymore, you guys? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's not even sustainable. I mean, unless you're in a bubble and you never leave your house, you're never gonna be able to do that and repeat it. So with all this stuff, remember, you guys, when it comes to food, it's not about a list of do's and don'ts. It's about health. It's about longevity. It's about strength. It's about what good things can I feed my body today? What good things can I put inside? You know, when we go and fill up our car, we put in the exact gas it needs, right? We don't put in something worse or something different. We put in what it needs. And this is what our body needs. This is what our body loves to thrive. And this is what our body loves to feel better, right?
Exactly.
So with that, you guys, when it comes to the goals this week, of course, remember, it's prioritization. It's making sure that you set aside a little bit of time, maybe every day, or if it's one time a week, whatever works best for your lifestyle. Stick with it, experiment with it, see how it goes. But then the action items are, of course, you know, create a little bit of a list. You know, if these are the things that you're watching us cook these and you're like, heck yeah, I want to eat these right away. Make yourself a little list for the grocery store. And the cool thing is when it comes to groceries, you guys, we can order them nowadays. You don't even have to go anywhere. So create a little list and then order them online if you want to. Make your meals and then just be intentional about it every single day to really set aside that time, cook them up, enjoy the process more than anything, you guys. Just heal your relationship with food. This is amazing stuff. And this will get you to your goals, you guys, I promise.